Hello, Bobbyers. Welcome to another episode of the Bible Beater Podcast. This is the Lord of Hosts, Caleb Campbell, joined as always by the interrupter, Kyle Vestner. How's it going anyways, Kyle?
Fucking dope, dude.
Fucking dope.
It's freezing. Feel like I'm back in Winnipeg.
It's just a tidbit cold around here. It's like...
In the gym,
Mm-hmm.
like they remember my name now, which is weird. Feels good.
Because you go
I've
once a week?
been enough.
Okay.
I got skipped the line today.
Oh, Kyle, just
Felt good.
come right in.
Like literally.
Do you have to make an appointment at the gym still?
Every fucking time.
Man, do you know what we didn't talk about?
Mm-hmm.
That fucking pissed me off like crazy. The fucking masks at the Super Bowl. The way the players had to wear a mask.
What?
The masks
Oh,
in
yeah.
the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The refs taking the mask off to blow the whistle. That was like my absolute favorite one. They like run up to the players, get right in their face, and blow whistles and pull down the mask and blows whistles in their face.
It's a bullshit formality.
Yeah.
I saw coaches taking off their masks to scream in people's face.
Yeah,
which
right?
is hilarious.
That was me at the beginning of the pandemic. Every time I walked around, I was like, because I'm a mouth breather and I look at people's mouths when they talk. I didn't realize how bad I am at actually hearing. I have hearing damage from working construction and listening from whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And
From rocking out.
yeah, when I can't see people's mouths, it's way harder for me to understand them. And so I would pull my mask down to talk to people like I was that
Like
retarded.
hoping they would do it to you.
No, I just like as a
How does they see them seeing your mouth benefit you?
I'm just saying because I look at people's mouths, I thought I would extend the courtesy by showing them my mouth and giving them COVID.
Okay.
Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
Spitting in their mouth.
Yes. And then it took me a long time and a lot of people going, hey, whoa, keep your mask on. And I was like, oh, yeah, sorry. I'd like lean around the plastic barrier, pull the mask down, talk to people. Because it's more effective for communication.
Are we done now?
Done what?
COVID?
I mean,
Is it over?
no, it's
Feels
not.
over.
It's never ending.
Feels like people are done with it, though.
Yeah, people are done with it.
Yeah, it really feels like the next fucking thing they try to enforce isn't going to work.
Yeah, Bonnie Henry basically said, that's her chief medical officer where we live, Dr. Bonnie Henry.
Mm-hmm.
She said, it's indefinite, but that only means because I want it to be as short as possible. Could be end of February, maybe March. And
Just going to keep extending it. Just a little extension.
Just variants.
Mm-hmm.
If there's variants and we have I'm not qualified to talk about this. I'm going to shut the fuck
Sure we
up.
are, yeah.
No.
I'm fully qualified.
I'm not going to speculate.
I'm not speculating. I'm telling you how it is.
What's up with you, Kyle? What's
Telling
new
you
in
like it is.
in your world?
Nothing, dude.
Nothing?
Nope. Literally forgot what I did all week.
Cool.
Mhm.
Well, in that case,
Oh, you know what I did today?
what?
I made I heard the song the Green Day song came on, Minority.
Sure.
Do you know that song?
Sing it.
It just starts off with like a drum. It goes, Psh, I want to be a minority.
Oh, yeah.
I don't. So, right?
Yeah.
So I just took that first part, I want to be a minority.
Yeah.
And every time it smashed in, I want to be a minority, I put like a different person that did blackface.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did Sean King, Rachel Dolezal, and then like
This is
8 Justin Trudeau's.
This is how you spend your day?
That's what I did for an hour.
Are we going to be able to see that somewhere?
I didn't even think about it.
Your magnificent meme?
I guess I'll post it to the Bible Beaters. I didn't even know what I was going to do with it.
Oh, the Bible Beaters, our Bible Beaters now is a meme page. I'm just posting fucking Bible memes there that
On
recycled
on
memes.
Reddit?
Yeah.
I'll post
Shout
it-
out to the 2 guys that tried to
I
revive
thought the Reddit was
subreddit.
dead.
Oh, it's been dead for a year, and 2 guys posted on it like a month ago, and I saw it like a week ago, and now I'm like, fucking, let's try. So
It's
I'm posting,
back, dude.
Yeah.
The
If
Reddit's back. It was never a thing, but it's back anyways. I'll post to the Instagram. Bible Beaters Podcast on Instagram, something like that. I don't even actually know what our Instagram is.
This is the shittiest marketing I've ever heard. Do you remember what we read about last week, Kyle?
What?
Do you remember what we read about last week?
No.
Last week we read that hilarious
I'm just
story
trying to find my own video.
of the prophet.
You can picture it in your head.
This is so bad. Visual memes
For an hour.
in the auditory version.
You get it. You get it. You all get it.
So yeah, last week on the podcast we read about that wacky story of they were sacrificing to the wrong gods as they do every other chapter.
Mm-hmm.
The prophet came and said, those are the wrong gods.
Oh,
And
he didn't.
Broke the altar in half.
Some dude come and shrivel an arm, or is that?
So that's the guy. And then the king was like, arrest that man. And then his arm shriveled up. He's like, heal my hand. And then he's like, God, heal his hand. So God healed his hand.
Mm-hmm.
Then on his way home, and then the king was like, come eat with me. He's like, no, we can't eat at the same. God said, it's, I'll go to hell if I eat here for some reason.
For a guy speaking directly to God, he was very easily duped.
Yep. And then on the way home, a different prophet. I don't see the reason I say not so easily duped. My mom says what you say. God's the only one you should listen to. You should never listen to people. But here, they just go to church and argue about what God says all the time. So how?
God's indistinguishable from people because he never shows himself. So he just is people.
Yeah. So this prophet, the early prophet Steve, meets Larry on the road. Larry's like, "Oh, you're a prophet. I'm a prophet." That reminds me of one of my favorite jokes. What did one lawyer say to the other lawyer?
I don't know.
Hey, we're both lawyers. It's one of those anti-jokes.
Yeah, those are great.
So yeah, they're prophets.
That's your favorite joke?
No, I just fucking said one of my favorites as to front sell a joke. It's not, Kyle, don't take me literally on anything I say on this podcast, please.
You hear that, everybody?
Except the literal word of God.
Yeah.
Anything I'm reading of the Bible, take that literally. Anyways, Larry says to Steve, come over for some food.
He's like, I can't.
Can't do it.
God told me not to. And he's like, what a coincidence. God told me you should.
An angel actually came and told me you should.
That doesn't outrank God.
It doesn't. But, you'd think if, God sent his...
Why would an angel do that to him?
Well, an angel... that didn't happen. There was no angel. The guy lied. Larry lied. Larry straight up...
Larry the liar.
Larry the liar.
What a bastard.
Larry the lying prophet. One of the lesser-known biblical prophets.
Odd for God to reward his deception like that.
Yeah, so then Steve goes over, eats there. Then the word of the Lord comes out of Larry's mouth and says, Steve, you shouldn't eat that. Now you're going to die. So Steve goes, that's ominous, but hopefully I'll make it home. Gets mauled by a lion on the way home because that's what...
The lion just chilled, too.
Yeah,
just lorded over him.
Stood next to the body. And then people were like, hey, there's a body and a lion there. And Larry's like, oh, that must be Steve. I knew that guy was fucked. So... he sends his sons to go collect the donkey. And then after that, so that's the whole story.
Because the donkey was also by the lion.
And this is how the story ends.
Okay.
Even after this, Jeroboam did not change his evil ways, but once more appointed priests for the high places from all sorts of people. Anyone who wanted to become a priest, he consecrated for the high places. This was the sin of the house of Jeroboam that led to its downfall and its destruction from the face of the earth. As if the previous story had anything to do with what the fuck we just said. So that weird story about the prophet and the lion and all that, and then...
is more of a lesson, really.
I don't see the lesson, though. That's what people, like...
Don't fuck with God.
That's one of the lessons. It's one of the other lessons people try to draw is how to discern prophecy. So they try to...
How? They didn't teach you how whatsoever. They said one guy said he was God. Yeah. One guy also said he was God. One guy listened to the wrong guy and then got eaten by a lion.
So Kyle, this will be, you'll love this. This is where we get into...
I mean, I'm going to believe the guy that can shrivel people's hands, if we're being honest.
Well, that's the guy that got mauled by the lion.
Yeah, but that's who I'm believing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
if that guy tells me that God wants me to do something, I go, fuck you, and he shrivels my arm?
I don't know how to answer that question. I'm just going to say what I was going to say. This is where biblical interpretation comes in. This is where people just straight up make shit up. So they go, you have to be able to discern false prophecy. And then they'll, reference a verse found in Amos. They're like, that's kind of like this story. And in that other story, this happened. So we can infer from these two stories in like instances, God behaves this way. And then they just start making stuff up. So it becomes a story about, this is how you tell if a false prophet, if they do exhibit these signs. And you're like, what signs? Impossible to know. People just make up. They literally make up answers.
It's pretty wild that God is almost indistinguishable from someone lying.
Right?
Yeah. Like the God speaking through man is almost exactly the same to the point where no one can tell.
Not even the guy
if someone is lying and just saying it's happening.
Yeah, the guy that talks to God
Yeah.
whom God spoke to, says this seems believable. God would probably say this.
Yeah, you would send an angel down.
And then from that wacky-ass story, we're supposed to infer that Jeroboam was doing evil. And at the beginning, he was worshiping false gods. But it's like, even after this, like as if A leads to B in that story. Like
because he invited him
exactly.
dinner
it's this
in the first place?
It's this non sequitur. Like, who knows what the fuck that means?
And that was bad because he invited him for dinner.
Well, he invited him and
he didn't heed his warning? What's the fucking lesson here?
Exactly. So people just make shit up.
What was the warning again?
He said, stop worshiping
false idols? Or
yeah, you're worshiping the wrong gods.
Mm-hmm.
And if you keep doing that, you'll be burning humans on those altars. And then the king said, arrest him.
And he's like, that sounds fun.
Well, the king said, arrest him. And then, we're now repeating.
It's like we already do that. We already burn people.
They weren't burning people at this time. I don't know. When they're burning people, usually that's to the wrong gods. God's saying don't burn people.
Isn't he doing that?
But he did, Saul's descendants were exposed to God and God like that. And he did make who was the man who sacrificed his daughter to God? That's another one. Back in Judges.
Because he had to?
Back in Judges.
Because he had to, because he made the deal if he won the battle. Is that the guy?
Yeah. He's like...
But then his daughter came running out to greet him, all excited he's home, and he's like...
Yeah.
Here's the thing. It's, yes, we won, but I got to kill you now.
So to clarify...
That was my favorite story.
God said, God, if we win this battle, I'll give you whatever walks out my front door. And it's his daughter.
What a roll of the dice.
Okay, so... Here we are in 1 Kings chapter 14.
You know what? I like his gamble. I appreciate the gamble.
It's probably going to be a goat. I can imagine it'd be a goat, maybe a cat. I would have scoured the ground for some sort of insect to be like, see, that just walked out right in front of her. There had to be, right?
I mean, no.
No.
Have to be.
I would have made up some reason to not burn my daughter on a fucking altar.
Yeah, I think back then we kind of came to the conclusion that he wanted to kill his daughter.
Yeah. And she's like, Daddy, I know I'm sad that I don't get to live a full life. I'm a virgin. Let me go cry in the hills with my sisters for a bit. She said, give me a month to weep. So he just, imagine that month.
Imagine a fucking child taking that so well.
Yeah. Just give me a month to mourn my own life, to have my own funeral for my fucking
if
self.
only I could get married and get plowed out. Would be nice.
Quiver full of arrows, dude.
What does that mean?
Oh, there's a Bible verse that says, something along of reproduce a lot, like may your quiver be full. That's a metaphor for having a lot of kids.
Don't shoot blanks.
No, it's more like having a
Isn't the quiver jizz?
No, the quiver would be your house. And
quiver's your balls. The arrows are jizz.
I mean, in a literal sense, yes.
That's what I thought you meant.
No, but the Bible means just like a lot of kids. That's a quiver full of... But you go straight to balls, which... I mean, that seems like it works.
I mean, shooting blanks means you don't have any bullets in your gun.
That's shooting blanks, and that's the...
Quiver full of arrows, to me,
yeah, you don't
the opposite.
That's the precursor to shooting blanks would be no arrows in your quiver.
Mm-hmm.
That's all right. So 1 Kings 14, Ahijah's prophecy against Jeroboam. So Jeroboam is not. He's looked at poorly right now.
By whom?
By the person writing this, because Jeroboam's doing bad shit. So
okay, but do the people he's presiding over? Is that the right word?
Yeah, that would. I mean, sure, that's what a judge does, but a king could preside over, ruling over.
There we go. His kingdom. Is he looked down upon by his kingdom? Is what I'm asking.
Doesn't
or just
really
this
say.
Outside observer.
This is like.
Is this a person within the kingdom? Who's writing this?
Good question. I actually don't know. I think it's the scribes under the reign of Josiah. I'm going back to the beginning of the book to see what this Bible says. La-da-da.
Because this dude's got some inside info. He was at the table with the king.
Like Judges, the author records. It just says the author, so nobody knows. I think this was written under the reign of Josiah, which is like... I don't know off the top of my head what year. Okay, so at the time, Abijah, son of Jeroboam, became ill. And Jeroboam said to his wife, "Go, disguise yourself so you won't be recognized as the wife of Jeroboam. Then go to Shiloh. Ahijah is the prophet there." So Ahijah is the prophet. Abijah is the prince, the young baby prince. And Jeroboam is the king of, I believe, Israel. And Rehoboam is the king of Judah, but it might be inverse. Okay?
Jesus Christ. So the prince is the son.
Abijah
is the son of
Jeroboam, the king.
The king that got cast out and now has the small part of the...
Yeah, so, well...
And Rehoboam's back with most of the Jews.
I believe. Well, Judah is the largest of the tribes.
He's like defected and he's worshiping other shit now.
Jeroboam has.
Yeah.
Rehoboam is Judah and Benjamin, I think, and they're probably smaller than the other 10, but they're the two biggest tribes, if you know what I mean. So it's like 10 verse 2, and so the 10 is bigger than the 2.
Who's the 10?
Gad.
Who owns the 10?
Jeroboam.
Oh.
Rehoboam is in the south, in Judah.
So he defected with the 2 and Rehoboam's worshiping other things?
Jeroboam defected. They both split up.
He defected, but he got 10 things?
10
That's
tribes.
Not defecting.
Well, he owns most
of it. You don't defect and get most of it. How is it? That's not defecting.
There was a split. Okay, then maybe defect is the wrong word.
Fair enough.
There was a schism. So
he's got 10 tribes. And his son, the prince, is going...
The more you ask me specific questions, the less I'm confident in that I actually know that's
He's
true.
got a bunch of tribes.
Yeah.
And his son, the prince... What the fuck's his name?
Abijah. He's irrelevant.
He's going to see a prophet.
No. Ahijah is the prophet.
Okay.
Abijah is the boy. Just know that he's a boy. He's not really in the story.
Young.
Ahijah is the prophet. So Jeroboam says to his wife, "Go talk to the prophet."
Disguise yourself.
Ahijah. So like you don't. So he won't know it's you. I just want him to think you're some lady.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Then ask him what you think of me.
Exactly. So
really?
Then go to Shiloh. Ahijah the prophet is there, the one who told me I would be king over this people.
Fucking freezing in here.
Take 10 loaves of bread with you, some cakes, and a jar of honey, and go to him. He will tell you what will happen to the boy. So he's worried about his sick son.
Oh, he's worried that his son's getting repercussions for his poor actions?
Remember, God said that he would.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a Rasputin situation here. The same way.
Mean?
Well, do you know about Rasputin?
I know the song.
God. Okay, well, Rasputin was, the mad monk, but the Tsar and Tsarina of Russia had a sick kid, and Rasputin would pray for the kid and he would get better. And in this way, he kind of like, I don't know, I don't want to say dictated policy, but he interfered with the goings on of Russian stuff. I'm just trying to say he's like a holy man that has the ear of the king. Okay. So Jeroboam's wife did what he said and went to Ahijah's house in Shiloh. Now, Ahijah could not see. His sight was gone because of his age. So the disguise is kind of irrelevant then.
Just do an accent.
But the Lord had told Ahijah, "Jeroboam's wife is coming to ask you about her son, for he is ill."
Who told?
God, the Lord.
Oh, God told him.
God is talking to Ahijah the prophet.
And she's going to pretend not to be herself?
And he's like, "Yo, Jeroboam's wife's coming."
If that is a possibility, why would anyone try to trick a prophet?
It's a very, very good question, Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
Why would anyone try to pick a prophet? It's literally impossible if it's God. So it's a very good point. But he tries anyways. That's all to make this guy seem, it's giving more, like, I don't know, credibility to the story. Like, he was even in disguise. She was in disguise.
And
even.
He knew. And
he
was blind, and he obviously knew her.
He was blind, and she's in disguise, and God told her anyways, right? It's just like more extra power.
She was blind, and she couldn't see.
The prophet.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, it's whatever.
It's a girl's name?
Two bad things.
What?
Is it disguise and he's blind?
The girl is in disguise.
Yes, I understand that.
The prophet is blind.
Mm-hmm.
So between the two of those, there's no way he should be able to tell who this is.
Got it.
But God can do it anyways.
It's a word for this.
So Jeroboam's wife is coming to ask you about her son, for he is ill, and you are to give her such and such an answer.
Okay.
God says such
he
and
yada
such.
yada?
Yeah, you're going to give her such and such an answer. When she arrives, she will pretend to be someone else. So Ahijah heard the sound of footsteps at the door. He said, "Come in, wife of Jeroboam. Why this pretense?" So that's like straight up like some Obi-Wan Kenobi shit.
Yeah,
where he's
dope.
just like immediately like, "Oh, you're here for the droids or whatever the fuck." Like he just knew. So go tell Jeroboam bad news. Why this pretense? I have been sent to you with bad news. Go tell Jeroboam that this is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. I raised you up from among the people and made you a leader over my people Israel. I tore the kingdom away from the house of David and gave it to you. But you have not been like my servant David, who kept my commands and followed me with all his heart.
Oh, really?
That's what it says, Kyle. I know, right? Isn't it just disgusting the way they're like, David's... You'll notice...
We're just ignoring all the shit that David did now?
Yes. For the rest of the Bible, it's like,
David was perfect.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's like I was saying, you know, how he's got this perfect reputation? Mm-hmm. It's just because they over and over reinforce it. The Bible does it all the time. God kills a bunch of people, and then they just say, God is merciful. And it's like, where? When was he merciful? He's been a piece of shit the whole time. And then they go, no, it says there he's merciful. Ignore his actions and read the words.
Was David worshiping other gods or no?
No, David never did that.
Because that's kind of the main thing.
David murdered a guy. He had a bunch of wives.
Yeah.
He
murdered a guy and took his wife.
Yeah.
Right?
That's like the main bad thing. But he also like usurped the throne. He was like a criminal. He betrayed some people. He gets an STD. He talks about in the Psalms.
He?
Oh yeah, in the Psalms he's always talking about the burning in his loins.
Die from that?
Which? I mean, some of them, yeah. I don't know which one he's talking
about. I thought
about.
all of them.
No, I mean not all of them.
Didn't syphilis made you crazy? Like it made you fucking crazy.
I'm not.
That one for sure.
I don't know much about STDs, if we're gonna be honest. I don't know the mortality rate. Syphilis.
I think there's viral and bacterial.
Gonorrhea makes you go blind, right?
Maybe. Sounds about right.
Who knows?
Do you have to get cum in your eyes or? Coincidence that this prophet is blind? I don't know.
I raised you up from among the people to make you leader over it. So this is God talking. Yeah. I tore the kingdom away from the house of David and gave it to you. But you have not been like my servant David, who kept my commands and followed me with all his heart.
Hey, God, why did my wife have to walk to this random old dude for you to tell me this?
It's a good question.
Why can't
Kyle.
he just say it to him?
It's a good question, Kyle.
At any point when he was about to do something that God didn't like, God could have just said something and none of it would have happened.
Well, I think if we go back a chapter or two, Jeroboam's building golden calves like pretty much immediately.
Yeah.
But it's.
Do you think if God went, hey, stop doing that?
Yeah.
He would. Oh fuck.
I mean,
there's another God.
What
right.
they would say is, they knew better. Solomon would have said, but Solomon also, remember, his dad, with 1,000 fucking wives, worshipped other gods who talked directly to God. And then God was like, David was so good that I'm going to punish not you, but your sons. So this is the sons getting punished.
Yeah.
We're now in the...
Jeroboam's still fine, though.
But
so far.
No, he isn't, because he's been worshiping the golden calf.
No, I mean, to this point, he's got no punishment.
Yes. So far, he's got away with it.
Shit's about to hit the fan, though.
Exactly. So I'll put on my booming God voice. I tore the kingdom away from the house of David and gave it to you. Blah, blah, blah. You have done more evil than all who lived before you. You have made yourself...
What?
That's what it says.
Than everyone else we've read in this Bible.
You have done more evil than all who have lived before you. You have made for yourself other gods, idols made of metal. You have provoked me to anger and thrust me behind your back.
Yeah.
Because of this, I am going to bring disaster to the house of Jeroboam. I will cut off from Jeroboam every last male in Israel, slave or free. I will burn up the house of Jeroboam as one who burns dung, until all is gone. Dogs will eat those belonging to Jeroboam who die in the city, and the birds of the air will feed on those who die in the country. The Lord has spoken. Now, let's just look at how many people...
You know how we burn shit?
How?
That's what I'm going to burn you like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But let's look at the collective punishment here for the sins of Jeroboam. All the slaves who had no choice, every male slave is going to die.
Descendant of him.
No, all
the men he rules over.
Yes,
are going to die.
Yes, because God is fair like that.
10 tribes.
God's mercy. Okay, so you shouldn't read it as every slave in Israel. All the slaves in his house. So, like in his palace, the guy that...
Oh, his personal slaves.
Yes.
That have done literally nothing.
Yes, that's exactly who.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because they were forced to work for him.
Yes, that's biblical justice. That's the God.
I guess in the eyes of God, which I could never assume God's intentions because I'm just a mortal man. But... If you were to punish him, it's like smashing it. It's like breaking a kid's toy, for acting out.
Yeah,
because a slave is just a possession.
Yes,
right?
yes. So yes,
so
it
just
is like
I'm
hurting
also
their property.
gonna,
and he's gonna hurt his children too. So like all the kids are gonna die. Basically every male in the house of Jeroboam is gonna die because of this guy.
It's like, what about the women?
No, they're fine.
Ah, fuck.
So, continuing, verse 12. As for you, go back home. When you set foot in your city, so as for you, now he's talking to the wife who's standing there. As for you, go back home. When you set foot in your city, the boy will die.
Jesus Christ. So don't do that then.
All Israel will mourn for him and bury him.
Why is he putting this on the mom?
Well, that's just like... That's good. That's going to be the signal. When you step in the city, that's when the boy dies. He put like a wizard curse on her. The second you step in, that's when he dies. Yeah.
So you're putting all the weight of her child's death on her now because of what her
I guess you could read it that way.
Kind of. Because is she actually going to go back in the city?
What do you think, Kyle?
No.
Yes. Of course she does. It's exactly how it happens. I know. You'd think that maybe I'll just never go home.
Some wizard tells you, a mother, that as soon as you cross the city lines, your kid's gonna die.
That she goes directly
and
home.
You have traveled to see this wizard, so you believe everything they're saying. Mm-hmm. And then you go straight home and watch your kid die.
That's what
with
happens.
No motherly protective instincts whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, I wonder if she thought it was inevitable, or it's funny that
if it was inevitable, why wouldn't he just do it right now? Why would he make some arbitrary, you have to cross this
line? Because
God
is always doing that shit. Yeah. Cross the line, fuckhead. Mm-hmm. Go ahead, worship another god. Smite it for 10 generations. That's what you get. Like
Yeah, you like that? Build that calf. I fucking dare you.
Yeah, exactly.
God, this is my favorite part. They do it every time.
Every second generation.
Every fucking time.
As for you,
it's like all I do is give him the gold.
Yeah.
Maybe I make him dream about calves. Maybe I do that. Would that be dope if he was just fucking with them?
Like God inspired them to
like
build
telling them not to do it.
Yeah.
But then just making them dream of golden calves all the time.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty fucking
because they're all building the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think they got the precedent it's got to be.
What do you mean they have the precedent? The precedent is you build that, God kills you.
Yeah,
it's been the precedent for hundreds of years.
And
you build that, you die.
And
it's like touching the ark at this point.
They keep doing it.
It's like touching the ark.
I know, Kyle. Does it seem more rational that people would continue to behave like that, or that this book is full of shit?
You know what, though? When you were a kid and it was like cold, because it's cold out now, There's like a frosty metal pole. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like toddlers. We're talking about adults.
Yeah, they're just toddlers, apparently. But you did it. You knew it was going to happen, and you did it anyways. I did it.
I did it, but I didn't know what was going to happen. They said, I was on the chairlift. They said, lick the chairlift.
And you did on a chairlift.
Oh, yeah. And I ripped like a dime-sized piece of skin off my tongue and bled for the rest of the day. That sucked. But I didn't.
How old are you?
Like, I was skiing, so 8 or 9.
Okay. Who told you to do it?
Good question. I think one of the fucking Wagner boys, but I don't know about that.
I licked a railing on my grandma's apartment.
Yeah? Based on who told you to do it?
I just got inspired.
I should lick this shit.
Yeah. I wonder what would happen if I licked it. Tongue immediately stuck. Start screaming.
I delivered water to the school in the movie A Christmas Story that the kid got his tongue stuck to the post. Cool story, hey? Kyle's looking at me like
you
I'm
delivered water?
Yeah, I was a water delivery guy when I worked in Ontario. That was my job.
That place is in Ontario?
St. Catharines. That's where that movie was filmed.
No.
A Christmas Story.
Neat.
Okay, so back to the Bible, verse 12. As for you, go back home. When you set foot in your city, the boy will die. All Israel will mourn for him and bury him. He is the only one belonging to Jeroboam who will be buried.
At least everyone's going to mourn for him.
Did you hear that?
That's the only one belonging to Jeroboam who will be buried.
The rest are going to get eaten by dogs in the street or birds of the air. Remember, he said that.
Oh, yeah.
So we'll let you bury your son, and for the rest of them, they're going to be eaten by animals.
Does he only have one son, or is that like his firstborn?
I think it's his firstborn. But I
mean, they already set the line precedent, so.
He is the only one belonging to Jeroboam who will be buried, because he is the only one of the house of Jeroboam in whom the Lord, the God of Israel, has found anything good. So the kid, God finds something good in him, so they allow him to get buried, but they're still going to kill him.
Because that saves your soul? If you get eaten by an animal, do you go to heaven?
Wow. Oh, man, that's a very good question. I have to do some research on this. But that's a big debate of why people get buried and not burned and cremated.
That's what I heard.
Because the Bible says, he's going to raise up all the saints from the grave, right?
Yeah.
And if you're burned, how is he going to raise you up? And
yeah, you're already up there.
I know. So the literalists go, you can't get burned or God can never remake your body, right? Or like if you get eaten by an animal, how can you be made whole again? Mm-hmm. And then the other people are like, if we're going to believe in magic, we'll just believe in any magic that he's believing bringing everybody up. But I'm going to study that. And we're going to talk about that. Because somebody actually sent me an email about that.
It is weird. It is a weird tradition.
Until just now.
My grandpa, who's super religious, didn't give a fuck, which is so weird. Didn't want to be buried whatsoever. Just got cremated.
I think graveyards are a waste of space. Like, if we're going to keep burying everybody, we're going to run. Like, what the fuck are we doing?
Do you know what they do in, like, England?
What?
Like, here, you buy your plot, right?
Yeah.
You own that land. You're there for effectively until we stop recognizing land titles, right?
Yeah.
In England, you rent it for 100 years.
And then they just bury somebody on top?
They dig you up and put someone else in there.
That's fucking weird.
You rent it for like 100 years or something. It's around there.
I thought
it's like enough where the next generation, it's like 2 generations. It's enough where 2 generations can mourn you and then fuck the other one.
That makes sense, though. What do you need to be around for 100 years? Like,
you don't.
Back in St. Catharines, where I was just talking about, they had like this graveyard that's like kind of like downtown. Like obviously it was on the outskirts of town, and the town just grew around it. They had this giant fucking graveyard like next to the mall. You're like, what the fuck is this? And it's huge and like pretty and everything. There's trees in it, but it's like, what a waste of space.
That's a dope plot to pick out for yourself, though.
Yeah.
Back then. Now you're in the middle of the city.
I wonder what
you got to ruin people's day for generations.
That's your thing, eh, Kyle? You want to get married or buried? I don't know. Where the fuck do you want to get buried? What do you want to happen to you when you die?
To freak out my parents when I was younger, I said I wanted to be eaten by wolves because that bothered them for some reason. And I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, why would you care?
I mean, I literally don't care. It's whatever everyone else wants, but if I could have like a tombstone. If I could devise a tombstone that would visibly make people angry when they read it, just like that would make me happy.
Instead of just get it shaped like a cock or something.
If you read this, you're gay. On my tombstone.
Sick, dude.
Just put it like really small words.
Put it somewhere obscure that's like.
Just put like really small print and make it go. If you're 2 inches away from this tombstone, you're gay.
Just troll archaeologists in the future.
Hell yeah, dude.
They find somehow aliens come to the planet after this place has been like abandoned due to nuclear holocaust and radiation for thousands of years.
Yeah.
And they find Kyle Vestner. Here lies Vestner. If you could read this, you're gay.
You know what? Worth it. If you ever read, like, I've been to 2 cemeteries, I think. Looked at very few tombstones, but the shit that gets written on the ones that do, that has to hold up forever.
Yeah.
And it's never good. It's never good enough.
Here
it's never good
lies
enough. Yeah.
Golfer, dad, son.
Yes.
You're like,
ugh. No. if I'm having fucking writing that's going to represent me, it's going to be little tiny words calling someone gay.
I think that's actually a pretty good, like a suiting epitaph.
Yeah, not bad.
Back to the Bible here. Verse 14. The Lord will raise up for himself a king over Israel who will cut off the family of Jeroboam. This is the day. What? Yes, even now. And the Lord will strike Israel so it will be like reeds swaying in the water. He will uproot Israel from this good land that he gave to their forefathers and scatter them beyond the river.
Because he's a kind God, a merciful God.
Yeah, the river is the Euphrates. Because they provoked the Lord to anger, and by making Asherah poles. And he will give Israel up because of the sins of Jeroboam has committed and has caused Israel to commit.
What about the kids? What did they do?
They were born to sinful parents.
Shit.
Yeah. God is merciful. It says so in the Bible.
Maybe you're good
Don't
for like...
look at his actions.
Maybe you're good for like one generation.
That's what
of your parents?
That's what people say.
Get out of here.
I mean, that's the only thing people can infer.
I mean, if you believe this horse shit, it's reasonable.
Truly, I do feel pretty bad in that it's like
what?
They really believe it, man. They think it's like true, and it really kind of breaks their heart. And so, and
yes, but okay.
One more thing, like they can't. Even if they didn't really believe it, like they've lived their whole lives that way. Like the sunk cost. My dad.
There's no coming out of that,
right?
Yeah,
like, my dad pays to store garbage $300 a month in his big steel box, and he's been doing it for 3 years. And you try to explain to him, Dad, empty it, throw it in the dump.
$10,000.
Yeah, throw it in the dump. And he's like, but I've stored it this long. Now I'm that much closer to getting a new place for it. Right? I can't throw it away now. I've already paid this much. That's the sunk cost. And that's his whole life if we go like this. Like this whole life would be a wasted... I mean, not really, because he helped a lot of kids and did that too. But
sure,
the church and the whole... all that
internally.
Yeah.
His internal salvation and
right?
his resolution with
so
death.
Like as if they're going to turn around now. And here I am just saying, your entire life is a lie. Fuck you.
Just because it's comforting to have your head buried in the sand doesn't mean that that's what the world is.
And I comfort myself by saying, look, if they were two quiet people that just went to church and did that, I wouldn't be doing this podcast. But since they're fucking, in the ear of maybe prime ministers.
That's true.
I deserve, or not deserve, that's a terrible word.
You deserve to fuck over your parents.
No, not deserve.
Yeah, you earned it.
I am.
You're owed to you. It's your birthright.
Duty bound. It's my job to give, I don't know, to see the other side of this horse shit.
I agree.
Come, kiss the sun. Kiss the sun.
That's such a
kiss
long
the sun.
fucking clip. Verse 17.
It's a little long.
Then Jeroboam's wife got up and left and went to Tirzah. As soon as she stepped over the threshold of the house, the boy died.
As
God
predicted,
said it would.
Yeah. Like, I wonder if it's such a weird threat. Yeah. Because she could have just left. Would he have not died?
It would seem that way. Like, but if you read, yeah. Right? If she just never, self-banishment.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Never went home. I mean, the story obviously couldn't work because this is propaganda, right? So Jeroboam needs to have sinned. He goes to the prophet, and he needs to learn his lesson. The story falls apart if she goes, and so she banished herself, never went home, and Jeroboam, the boy grew up.
Or, give the kid. Give the kid to the old man and be like, well, the kid's yours now. You just said he was going to die if he comes back with me, so I guess you got a kid.
No, the kid is still in Israel. She left the kid. She went alone. She went alone to this prophet.
Oh.
When you get home.
Gotcha. Yeah, she could have banished herself then.
She could have. But then
she just wanted to see if the kid would die.
I mean, maybe. Yeah. Maybe. I mean, what else is she going to do? I mean, self-banishment, she was basically...
a mother has never sacrificed herself for their kids.
Well, I'm saying that's
never happened in history.
But that's a death sentence. I mean, she could have done that. Mm-hmm. But then the story doesn't work. The propaganda doesn't work, and Jeroboam isn't
probably
punished.
A babe. She could have fucking shoehorned her way into some other dude's life.
Maybe.
Just fully occupied.
So Jeroboam's wife got up and left his Tirzah. She stepped over the threshold. The boy died. They buried him, and all Israel mourned for him, as the Lord had said through his servant the prophet Ahijah. The other events of Jeroboam's reign, the wars, and how he ruled are written in the book of the annals of the kings of Israel. He reigned for 22 years and then rested with his fathers, and Nadab his son seated him as king. Hang on a sec, God. If you were going to take away his kingdom and smite him and all the rest of it, why did he reign for 22 fucking years after the fact?
Also, he had a kingdom to reign over.
Yeah, and
so he didn't kill everybody.
Nadab, his son, succeeded him as king.
He didn't even kill his kids.
I thought you were going to kill all the men of the house of Jeroboam. What are we to make of this story, Kyle?
I don't get it.
It's just another case of the Bible.
So the threat was, God said he's going to kill all the people, all the men in the family. One of them is going to be buried. The rest are going to be eaten by birds.
I think you could read this.
What are we supposed to infer as a religious person?
One way to read it is all the men that were living then died. So she steps across the house of the threshold. All the slaves die, and everyone that's alive dies. Then in the 22 years after the fact,
and then she gets all horny because her kids are dead.
Yeah, like
an animal,
like a lioness.
Yep.
I mean, that's one way to read it. But
he plops a new one in her, and business as usual.
Did it not say though? Did it not say? Sorry, I just trying to.
Did it not say that his reign would be over?
It says, yeah, I will bring disaster on the house of Jeroboam. I will cut off from Jeroboam every last male in Israel, slave or free. I will burn up the house of Jeroboam as one burns dung.
It said every last male in Israel.
Until it is all gone. Dogs will eat. So what the fuck are we to do with this story? The Bible
I don't know. God said he was going to kill everyone, then he didn't?
Yes.
He just killed one little boy.
I mean, Christians are going to tell me I'm reading it wrong, and I got to do.
What would they say?
Oh, actually, you have to do 50 years of learning Hebrew and mental gymnastics before you can just say, "God, let him live," kinda. I mean,
maybe God, because he is merciful, because he says so, decided after the one child died that maybe he learned his lesson,
and that's
and then God, in all his mercy, because he's very forgiving and loving, changed his mind after murdering that one child.
And then didn't amend the text. So we're left with a broken version of the Bible.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and failed to mention that, yes, he changed his mind. Odd for him, because he likes to say how forgiving he is.
Yeah. So,
at every moment when he's not.
So that was in the north.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, Rehoboam is king of Judah. So these guys sound like, I mean, I guess they are brothers. I was going to say they sound like brothers, Rehoboam and Jeroboam, but they are. They're both sons of Solomon. That was dumb of me. So Rehoboam, son of Solomon, was king in Judah. He was 41 years old when he became king. He reigned 17 years in Jerusalem. Those are long kingships, by the way.
Is it?
I mean, you can get a lot.
Well, he got 22 extra years after his kid died. Is that like a full...
Yes,
full reign?
Yes, he lived a full reign. So
he lived a full life as a king.
God will burn his house up as he burns up dung 22 years later. Like, what the fuck?
I don't know what to tell you.
I don't know what to tell anybody. But, like, I don't know how people can fucking read this and take it seriously. It's insane to me. It's fine. I'm over it. It's fine. I'm not. Doesn't really bug me, actually. I didn't just make a podcast about it. He reigned 17 years in Jerusalem, in the city of the Lord, the city the Lord had chosen out of all the tribes of Israel.
Could you imagine being the mom, though? She
like
goes
the
there.
queen? Yeah.
Here's the queen. Here's the message of doom. Terrified. Comes back, and then God only kills her son.
Yeah.
That's it. Says he's going to do all this shit.
To teach her husband a lesson.
Yeah. And he probably doesn't even care that much.
I mean, it's hard to say. Some fathers care a lot, some of them don't. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, he did reign another 22 years and had his descendants still took the throne.
40, 50 wives later.
His descendants still took the throne.
Yeah, he got a new kid.
It's fucking so crazy that how they say one thing and do another, and no one calls them on their shit. They all go, no, we're reading this wrong, and then fucking study the book and do all this extra shit.
This is an example where it's nice that God just didn't kill people, though. You know what I mean? Usually he says one thing and does the opposite. The opposite is murdering a bunch of people. This time he's like, I'm going to kill a bunch of people, and then just didn't for some reason.
Oh, how mercifully. Yeah.
Maybe he got shit-faced and forgot.
It's funny because
had a nap.
God does forget, and he does have naps.
Yeah. Wasn't I supposed to do something today?
There was somebody else
genocide a whole family.
Yeah, there was
lineage
somebody
or
else supposed to
something like
genocide. Who was I supposed to genocide?
Ah, fuck. Just have another drink.
If I forgot, it must be not important anyways. I am God after all.
Who wants to go back to back, Bender?
So he reigned 17 years in Jerusalem, the city the Lord had chosen out of all the tribes in Israel, in which to put his name. His mother's name was Naamah. She was an Ammonite. Judah did evil in the eyes of the Lord. By the sins they committed, they stirred up his jealous anger more than their fathers had done. They also set up for themselves high places.
Judah?
The country of Judah.
Oh, okay.
Like the tribe of Judah.
Gotcha.
They had also set up for themselves high places, sacred stones, and Asherah poles up on every high hill and under every spreading tree. There were even male shrine prostitutes in the land. The people engaged in all detestable practices of the nations.
There were what prostitutes?
Male prostitutes. That's gay ones.
Gay sex.
Gay fuckers, dude. God
hates that.
Like more than anything.
He hates watching it.
He hates it.
He hates when he looks down and he sees gay sex and he can't look away. Why can't he look away?
I don't know.
Stop making me like this.
It's right?
Yeah.
Why did God make gay giraffes?
Why did he make gay sex?
I mean,
God invented gay sex when you think about it.
Of course he did.
We didn't have to shit.
But it's funny that there's gay of every mammal.
Why did he make the butthole feel good if he didn't want gay sex? Ever think about that?
There's a lot of nerve endings down there, Kyle. I don't know. It's weird. It's ridiculous. That was one of
God's up there in heaven being like, if you guys have to like shitting, if I have to like shitting, you guys are going to like shitting.
I used to be like a serious homophobe just because I grew up in church and I was homeschooled. And I was like, yeah, no, not for me. Like, I don't like gay people at all. I won't even talk to them. And then I found out this dude I already liked was gay. And I was like, oh, man, this is really weird that I'm friends with this dude that's gay because I hate gay people. And one of the things that helped me get over that was I was researching it because why is gay bad actually? Like actually, besides it being weird, why is it
in the Bible? Because God.
Well, besides
so.
the Bible, and then in my research I found
you googled why is gay bad.
No, not directly that. I couldn't tell you
funny.
what I googled, but I found out about gay mammals and the percentage of mammals that are gay and like everything. And giraffes have the most out of all mammals. Giraffes are the gayest.
They say, really?
I don't know. There's more gay giraffes.
I assumed all animal homosexuality was by accident.
Yeah.
Or dominance.
I mean, those.
You know what I mean? You could say they're gay, but how many of them are getting penetration? I've seen 1,000 dogs hump each other. Not one time did he get it in. You know what I mean?
So you're not gay. You just want to dominate the competition.
Yes. Yeah, everyone's my bitch.
It is. I mean, yeah, you could say that, but there is the fact that it exists in animals.
I mean, that's us. It's us anthropomorphizing animals. That's what I think we're doing. We're going, we have gay sex as humans.
No,
so these animals that aren't even doing that are having gay sex.
No, bonobos, like the monkeys that like give each other sexual favors. There's gays.
I believe that.
There's that at least
because they like trade money for sex.
Yeah, they're like giving
they're
each
all
other
about
handies
and
blowies and everything.
I don't think the giraffes are giving each other handies.
Fucking imagine deep throating.
I was just gonna say
giraffe deep throat.
What a fucking slap in the face. Giant throats and tiny dicks. Like you can't even use the real estate.
That's fucking hilarious. This
Not
podcast
fair.
is called Giraffe Deep Throat.
No, it's not.
Why not?
Because of the YouTube thing you told me about.
That's true. Damn it.
We're triple shadow bear.
Oh my God. Just a tiny little anecdote. Somebody posted a funny video on Facebook, and so I shared it. And when I shared it, I got a bunch of likes and stuff. And the dude was like, "Oh, That's fucking hilarious, man. Yeah, I posted this on my page like a couple days ago. I think I'm shadow banned. And I was like, dude, I shared it from your page. Because he had no likes and mine had a bunch. So the guy's just a loser.
No, you just have no friends.
That's what he's got this construct that he's built up. Well, I guess I'm shadow banned from Facebook. It's like, dude, nobody likes you.
And he probably didn't even make the thing.
No, he didn't.
He just shared it.
Well, it was a YouTube. Yeah, it was a YouTube video. Yeah, but it's funny to me that people go to like when nobody they get no interaction that they go immediately to shadow ban.
Well, shadow ban doesn't mean people can't see it. Your friends can see it. It's just they're not going to show it to any new people in the algorithm. That's all it means.
I just think
so people can find it, and if you're subscribed to it, it'll show up. But they'll show it to no new people based on any keywords you have, which is pretty tough.
That's disheartening.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Which apparently we are. Shadow ban.
How do you know that?
Well, you said.
I didn't say that.
You said based on a certain... You sent me the video where, like, if you have these things in your titles,
yes,
you will be shadow banned.
No, I
which
said...
is like half our fucking titles.
I said that was an example of things that get shadow banned, but that was just from one podcast, and that was anecdotal.
Fair enough, but it was someone within the industry that has insider information on how it works, saying if you have any of these, they only really check the keywords in the titles. Which
shoot crap.
I think our titles are funny, but YouTube, it'd be funny if we just made podcast titles than YouTube
Men
only
aren't
titles.
Women podcast. Like all those things, all the
we
things.
Should just make YouTube only titles. Just make them. You know how like in a song when they or a movie when they change the swears.
Yeah. Oh man, the one I hated
the most. And they change it to like hilarious words.
Let's get it started in here. Let's Get Retarded in Here was a way better song.
I like Let's Get It Started better.
Why?
I've heard both. I don't know.
Let's get retarded in here. And my milkshake.
Yeah, but Let's Get It Started. It hasn't even happened yet, dude. It's about to happen.
No, Let's Get Retarded. That sounds. Would you rather get it started or get retarded?
I'd rather get Down syndrome, but get down syndrome.
So back to the Bible here.
Mm-hmm.
There were even male shrine prostitutes in the land. The people engaged in...
What does shrine prostitute mean?
That means like temple prostitutes. So like you want to go like say, God, please bless me and get your dick sucked. You know, wouldn't it be nice?
What?
Wouldn't it be nice if church had a happy ending? That's what a shrine prostitute is.
Like instead of in the confession booth, instead of a little grate, there's just a glory hole?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess just like modern day church.
That's dope.
Shrine prostitutes.
I guarantee you that porn exists. And if it doesn't, how does a confession booth glory hole not
Dude,
exist?
I saw a porno. It was like...
Dude, you're married now.
No, it was. I saw it in a movie
before
store.
You were married.
No, I saw it in a movie store.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember what it was, but it was like it was a Jesus one, and it was all Roman centurions and Jesus,
mm-hmm.
and but it had a fucking hilarious name. It was like the something of the Christ, Passion of the. I think it was Passion of the Christ.
I mean that works.
Yeah, it was. But when at the time, I guess.
And wait, they fucked Jesus?
Yeah. There was Roman soldiers like Jesus. I mean, that's what I assumed based on the title. I didn't watch it.
Sure you
But
didn't.
At that time,
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I don't know. I was in high school, so like 16 or 17, and I could not. I thought, I was like that. I was like, that's too far. Like that's not even funny. It's and like I look back on it, I'm like, that's pretty fucking funny.
That is funny. It's legit funny. Fuck Jesus for our sins.
Yeah, he took all our loads. He took upon all our loads.
Who is that joke? It's like I wouldn't even go back in time and oh, that's Lucy K.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go everyone would go back in time and kill Hitler. I would just rape him.
That'd teach him.
That was genius. He was like, "Do you want to go get the I don't really feel like it anymore."
Verse 25. In the 5th year of King Rehoboam, Shishak, king of Egypt, attacked Jerusalem. He carried off treasures of the temple of the Lord and treasures of the royal palace. He took everything, including all the gold shields Solomon had made.
So this is who's doing this?
Egypt is boning over the south of Israel, which is Judah, under King Rehoboam.
Okay, so not even the dude that was supposed to get punished.
Yes.
His brother.
Well, they're both getting punished.
What did Rehoboam do?
He was also, so it says at the beginning,
yada yada yada. He built calves, didn't praise God.
Exactly that.
Okay.
Basically, you can say when Israel's conquesting or doing well,
Yeah.
God's, they're worshiping God. It's directly correlated, their territory and relative strength.
God's very jealous, eh?
Oh, he says so. In his jealous anger more than his father. Yes, he's very jealous, which is pathetic, by the way.
Yes.
Imagine being jealous of
wouldn't
your
you
creation.
be jealous? You made something?
No,
You're the only...
I wouldn't. I would
Hold
fucking
on.
squish it and walk away.
You would just kill it all.
Yes.
Like God's doing.
Yes, but I wouldn't beg it to like me and kill it slowly and be like, please like me, please. Please like me or I'm going to burn you forever. Please fucking like me. Listen, if you like me, I'll give you anything you want. Heaven, street spectacle. No, I can't give your family back. They have to suffer forever. I can't give you that.
You're like the loser in school that has a pool, but people still won't hang out with you.
Yes, God is that.
It's like I got a pool and a trampoline.
In fact, twice, because the first group of things he made, the angels, they all fucked off.
Yeah, one of them.
They were all like, you know what? God sucks. We're fucking leaving.
In fact, I'm smarter than you, God.
Yeah, I mean,
You fucking idiot.
I choose to believe that the devil's actually running the show, but yeah, I mean, he could. By definition, he can't be smarter than God.
But
right?
he thought he was.
He thought he was. That's true. But he can't be.
So
for
God
real.
allowed him to think he was, at least.
Yeah, God, I know. It's the dumbest shit ever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Egypt takes off.
That's funny. You make a bunch of people in your God realm, right?
Yeah.
They don't like you, but you still can make them do whatever you want, but you still want to be loved.
Yeah.
So you make a bunch of lesser, stupider beings. I'm like, I can trick these idiots. And they immediately, without direct intervention...
Well, actually, another thing that he made tricks them into not liking God.
What?
The serpent, right?
Didn't he do that on purpose?
Who knows? Obviously, I mean...
I assume the serpent was on purpose.
Everyone
Don't they say it's the devil or something? No.
They say that, but there's no
there's
evidence.
no devil
for them.
yet.
There's, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the devil comes in way later, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anybody... with half a brain, I don't know. Nobody that believes this is smart at all. Okay, but the smarter version,
There's plenty of people that believe it that's smart.
That's true, but what the fuck? I guess they just hope.
That's smarter than me, though.
Anyways, my point is, the literalist version is the dumbest fucking thing you've ever heard in your life.
That's why you have to get all
That's why
interpretive.
it has to be a metaphor, right? That's not really what happened.
The
It's a story.
Bible's actually a lot like Walt Disney cartoons. Simba is Jesus, and Scar is temptation.
Go fucking swallow some benzos. You suicide. Make your bed, you fuck.
I love Jordan Peterson.
Why?
I think he has good advice. What?
Why?
Why?
Yeah, why?
Because I think he gives practical, very good advice to people who desperately need it.
Okay, there's that.
Yeah,
but
that's not a minor thing.
I can't get over the fact that he believes
he clings to religion.
Yes, I can't get over it.
I think
he never cops to it. He's always like, depends what you mean by religion. Depends what you mean by Jesus dying on the cross.
He said once that he almost clarified his point. So pretty much, because I've watched a lot of stuff from him, he does believe in God. Absolutely.
I know he does.
But he thinks the Bible isn't the word of God. It has the power of old stories being told down through generation. Like the power of the Bible, he thinks there is a God, I think.
So, but is it this God? Does he believe in this God? Then fuck you, you idiot. If you believe this, you're a fucking idiot.
I think he believes, you know how you said people worship the book and not the God?
That's true.
I think that's what he worships more.
Yeah,
it's the actual
stories.
book. Yeah, itself. And he thinks the stories carry weight because they've lasted so long.
I mean, there are good metaphors in here. Like Jesus.
Oh, you really have to pick and choose.
You do pick and choose.
You have to make up your own thing and then say how it relates.
Yes.
Because I've heard him talk about the Bible related to Disney cartoons, which is so fucking wild. I get it to do once because you're talking down to people and be like, you don't get this. Here's a Disney cartoon you've all seen to understand it.
I've heard his
But he does it to every single one. He does it to all of them.
And I don't see how people eat it up like that's the smartest shit ever.
They don't think it's smart. Dumb people eat it up.
Okay. So
I don't think people are going, holy fuck, that Jordan Peterson Disney shit is the smartest shit I've ever seen.
Dude, it's got 1 million views. Like all those videos.
Million views doesn't make something. You know what has 1 million views?
At least it's
a
popular.
guy farting.
Okay, all right, fine.
A guy farting has 5 million views.
That's not. You're right. That's not a good measure of that. But I'm just saying it's popular, and that's the shit he's popular for. And people say he's smart. So
I wouldn't say he's popular for that. I say he's popular for his make your bed speeches.
Make your bed, Jordan. Make your fucking bed. Get off the benzos.
I think he is. He almost died.
I mean, good for him. I hope he comes back. Dude, could you imagine if he ever came on this podcast? I would love to talk to that fucking guy. He would probably smoke me in a debate because he probably knows this a lot better.
Of course he would. Like, it is shocking. As soon as you don't subscribe to the rules of the Bible, you can, if you're smart enough, can beat someone in debate, right? Religiously. But as soon as you say you play within the confines of the book, that's why he doesn't say it.
No, he doesn't.
Because then he could be attacked by that,
exactly.
Right?
That's my whole thing. Is
exactly.
I confine people to the book and I attack the book.
Well, most religious people would say Jordan Peters isn't a real Christian because he doesn't say that he is or confined to the book whatsoever.
No true Scotsman fallacy.
What does that mean?
Oh, that's what Christians do when a Christian does something bad. They go, that guy wasn't a Christian.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Sure.
I'm a real Christian. That guy.
I just mean practicality. You kind of have to say you believe the words of this book and this God to be a Christian.
But he
right?
pseudo believes it. But blah
yes,
blah blah.
Exactly. Yeah.
That drives me fucking crazy.
He won't say his true beliefs.
Exact. So fuck him then. So then I guess I win by
Fair
default.
enough.
If you're gonna argue, you have to fucking take this.
Maybe we'll get his daughter on instead.
I mean,
twice as hot, but 1/4 as smart.
I mean, then we could really win.
Let's do it.
In the 50s, so Egypt. So I'll just read this all over again. Verse 25. In the 5th year of the king of Rehoboam, Shishak, the king of Egypt, attacked Jerusalem. If I had done my homework, I would have looked up if Shishak was ever a king of Egypt. That seems like a verifiable piece of information because the Egyptians kept fantastic records.
Shishak.
In the 5th year of the...
It's weird that God bestowed them with the ability to do greater things than the Jews without God on their side.
Yes.
It's almost like with God lack of God intervening, left to your own devices, you're much more successful.
Yes.
Than having infinitely powerful being directing you.
But Kyle,
isn't that weird?
The problem is they couldn't actually follow the powerful being. They kept making golden cows and worshiping those.
Yeah.
Those silly people, even though they were in direct communication with the guy that said he could let them conquer the world. That just makes complete sense to me.
No, it makes sense to me.
So Shishak, king of Egypt, attacked Jerusalem. He carried off the treasures of the temple of the Lord and the treasures of the royal palace. He took everything, including all gold shields Solomon had made. So King Rehoboam
Not the shields.
made bronze shields to replace them and assigned these to the commanders of the guard on duty at the entrance to the royal palace. Whenever the king went to the Lord's temple, the guards bore the shields, and afterwards they returned to their guard room. That's just a weird little piece of information.
Yeah, they used to have gold. Now they have bronze. They officially are 3rd place.
Yeah.
Great.
As for the other events of Rehoboam's reign, and
how quickly did that happen too? They really smelted shields real fast.
In the 5th year of his reign, so 5 years in, Rehoboam gets smoked by Egypt, but they don't.
Yeah.
It's not a genocide. They basically win and then carry off a bunch of gold. Most ancient battles, I shouldn't even.
Well, you want to leave them up to their own devices to make new shit that you can steal. If you wipe them out, they make no new shit.
Yeah, they weren't they weren't genocidal conflicts. It wasn't to the
Well, doesn't that make sense though?
Rome versus Carthage was a genocidal conflict.
If you want to take people's stuff, you have to let them make stuff.
Come back the Vikings.
Fuck yeah, come back every fucking 5 years.
And they carry off all the gold, and that seems like a pretty good thing. But the problem is
they make some new hot chicks for you. You take them too,
which is great. So that's and what a lot of empires did throughout the time. The Mongols were famous for it.
Yeah, it's my new risk strategy.
But people, being people, fucking hate that. And if they ever band together with enough neighbors, they're coming for you.
You're in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you've built temples and shit. You got gold rings in your nose. You're doing all right.
So as for the other events of Rehoboam's reign and all he did, are they not written in the book of the annals of the kings of Judah? Annals. There was continual warfare between Rehoboam and Jeroboam. And all Rehoboam...
Really? They're brothers.
Yeah, so Israel and Judah are fighting nonstop. God's promised both of them their reigns are going to end. But one lives for 17 years, one lives for 22, and his whole house is supposed to be burned up like dung, except his descendant takes the throne. So I don't know what the fuck is going on here.
And this is the first we hear that they burn their shit, too. Interesting.
Interesting. And there was continual warfare between Rehoboam and Jeroboam. And Rehoboam rested with his fathers and was buried with them in the city of David. His mother's name was Naamah, and she was an Ammonite. And Abijah, his son, succeeded him as king. Well, that's weird that he has the same name as his brother, Abijah. Jeroboam named his son Abijah.
The one that died.
Yeah, and he's dead. And Rehoboam names his son Abijah.
Huh.
Maybe
that is fucking weird. Maybe it's a tribute.
I was gonna say maybe it's like Tyler of that time, and everyone just got named Tyler
or Kyle.
Yeah, or Kyle.
Kyle.
Fucking Kyle. Abijam. It's either Abijam or Abijah. Next week, Abijah, king of Judah, Asa, king of Judah. There's a bunch of kings. And then we get to Elijah. We're like 2 weeks away from Elijah, and that's gonna be.
What's Elijah?
Elijah's one of the great stories in the Bible. It's a pray-off between the prophets of God and the prophets of Baal.
Oh, it's like your dad and that dude.
Yeah, it's a wizard's duel.
Sweet.
So did you learn anything today, Kyle?
Yeah, I learned that God can make violent threats.
And not
carry them out. Just totally forget. How could you be worried or scared of that guy?
I mean,
first of
all,
up
to that point though, he did some shit.
Hold on though. He wrote those. I mean, he made those threats through that old man. Within weeks, it took her to get back. Probably much shorter. He already forgot. He killed the kid and then forgot. And we're supposed to be scared of threats from 4,000 years ago? Like he's going to remember he did it?
Well, I mean, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. He also gets a lot nicer about 2,000 years ago.
Yeah.
But he's unchanging and the same guy and a different guy, and it's 3 in 1.
I ain't scared.
I ain't scared, you motherfuckers. Did we get any emails, Kyle? We must have. It's been weeks.
Emails.
Are you fucking serious?
Dead goddamn serious.
All right. Well, do you know what this means? Like, we're the Bible Beater podcast, right? And in Matthew,
we're the Bible Beaters podcast.
Bible Beater podcast. Me and you are Bible Beaters. That's as far as I'll go with that.
No, we're the Bible Beaters podcast.
Take it.
Check the logos. Check the official name.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
If you like this podcast, and I know there's people out here that like this podcast that shouldn't like this podcast.
Yeah, we got a little inside info.
That feel bad about listening to this podcast.
Got a couple guilty listeners, and it's okay. Don't feel bad.
You have to. You don't. Here's what you owe it to society to tell your Christian friends about this podcast. If you know anyone that's a hardcore Christian, you have to tell them about this podcast at least so they can pray for us. Because if anybody needs it, it's us.
For sure. I mean, we've written a lot of checks.
We're
going to need thousands of prayers to undo our doing. And we're in trouble. Our eternal souls are kind of fucked.
They're depending on you. We're going to be like the descendants of Jeroboam. We might just live for 22 years and continue and finish the whole podcast.
Who's to say?
Or we might get smited.
God's made no direct threats up to this point.
I mean, the thing, you know what bugs me is that Christians...
Besides everything God-related? Your parents? Is it your parents?
Oh, God. Okay, so yes, a lot of things, Kyle. A lot of things bug me. But the Christians smugly say that, your sins will find you out. God will catch up with you. Mm-hmm. So inevitably, bad things will happen to me in my life. Mm-hmm. Maybe, however I die.
Why do bad things happen to good people then?
Ask fucking God about that. It's a great day to curse God. But inevitably, when bad things happen to me, when I, become a quadriplegic in a car accident or get cancer, or however it's going to end for me, they go, see, God fucking got him. He did that podcast.
There's a lot of people that wouldn't be happy but would feel justified if that happened to you.
Right? If anything bad happens to me now, they go, That's what he gets.
They'd feel
right?
totally
it's not just
justified.
chaos. And
Yeah.
they don't look at their own lives and see bad things happen to like their neighbors or their fucking family and be like, God didn't. No, it's just a tragedy. But in that case, they were getting theirs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, tell your Christian friends about this, and it's like
They'll like it. It's a guilty pleasure.
they will like it. It's honestly refreshing to hear someone call God out on his fucking shit.
And you believe it.
Yeah.
You know a little bit of you when you're in church and they say all this shit, and the verses where God is
and you
all
don't
merciful.
read along,
Yeah.
and you just nod your head at the end and say, "Yeah, that sounds good to me. God's good to me." Fuck Muslims also because they're worshiping the wrong God. That's what
All of them.
that's the attitude.
Fuck Buddhists.
Yeah, fuck. Man, no one ever says fuck Buddhists. 'Cause you know
Fuck
why?
'em.
Because Buddhists aren't proselytizing. As in, it's not in like Buddhism to like and go make Buddhists of the whole earth.
Fuck Mormons.
Fuck Mormons for sure.
Yeah, they're the worst. They are so friendly though.
I mean, I only
They
know
are so
one Mormon.
creepily friendly.
It's creepy. They want
is
something from
creepy,
you.
yeah.
They want something from you.
There's an ulterior motive.
Like your daughters.
Yeah, when you're being friendly with motive, not altruistically.
No.
You got ulterior motives.
Yeah.
It's creepy.
You scratch my back, I'll
They'll
send you.
have that Ted Bundy I'm a nice guy stare. When behind the eyes, they got evil underwear on them.
How do the Mormons
Yeah.
This is a legitimate question. Considering their polygamy and all that crap, the only way for them to perpetuate, let's say they became the world's major religion, they somehow surpassed Christianity and Islam. And
It'd be an India situation.
Well-
There'd be a lot of horny dudes out there.
so that, or they would have to start taking wives from other people.
What do you mean?
Well, ancient times, that's when you actually literally take wives.
Well, I think you're allowed to have more wives. You're not guaranteed more wives like you just killed yourself in an airplane.
That's the
I
only
think
reason.
you're just allowed more.
Well, that's the only reason I was going to sign up. Like,
There's only so many baby
I
girls
thought you
for
got
everybody out
fucking
there.
5 wives on the sign up. Like, all right, I'm a Mormon. Can I have
Do you
my
want to know what
wives, please?
civilization would look like if you're allowed to fuck? If Mormons were the dominating religion, it would look like India right now. India or Japan, where it's just 2-to-1 guys to girls,
Weeaboos.
and just a
Mormon-
bunch of guys fucking pillows.
Oh man,
It's a bunch of dudes with a bunch of cartoon pillows.
Are there Mormon weebs?
Oh my god, I hope so.
Like they just have
Just 5.
their special underwear is just full of cum.
I think that's Jehovah with special underwear. Or is it Mormon?
I think Mormons wear the undies.
Oh yeah, they probably have the undies.
Whatever. I think we've pissed off enough religions.
All right, next week we got a big announcement.
Oh yeah.
We're finally doing it. It's happening next week. We're going to announce it on the next podcast for sure, but Patreon is coming.
That's big news, Kyle. Do you know what that means?
Just don't react.
Well, I didn't.
Patreon is coming.
I
We
didn't
gotta-
know I was supposed to say something, but do you know what that means for you guys? That means extra podcasts every week, and that means also
We got some pretty kick-ass
obviously we're not going
first
to read.
Patreon episodes.
It's going to be Bible focused, but we're not going to read the Bible because the Bible's going to be free for
We
everybody.
interview-
as God intended, but we do interview some fantastic people, and I got some pretty. I won't say big names, but I will say.
We got some shit in the pipeline.
I will say. I don't know.
You might know them.
Theological.
Stacey Campbell,
Yeah.
Wesley Campbell.
We have some people that know their shit talking about the Bible on this podcast coming up. And we're going to fuck with the format a bit. There'll be studies of saints. There'll be theology studies.
The Patreons are great because we're not bound to the constraints of having to read this fucking piece of shit front to back, which we love doing, to be honest, because it is a piece of shit. What are we going to do?
It is a bit constraining.
Yeah, it is constraining. We got to do whatever we want. The first few Patreons so far have been fucking awesome.
I'm pretty proud of them.
I'm proud of them. I'm stoked. We talked to a Muzzy
I'm actually
about growing up growing up
from
wherever
Syria,
they come from,
Damascus, the
Yeah.
oldest city in the world.
We get some outside perspective on Caleb's family for someone who grew up knowing them, and it's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. And
So look out for that. That'll be officially announced next week, but it's happening. No more talking. Now we're doing.